All right, welcome back to another episode of Small Guys Podcast. Today we are doing Reservoir Dogs from 1992, written and directed by Quentin Tarantino. It was his first movie, I believe. When a simple jewelry heist goes horribly wrong, the surviving criminals begin to suspect that one of them is a police informant. This movie has a 90% critic score and a 94% audience score. It's only an hour 45. We do have a special guest, a Tarantino pro, Nick
Yeah,
Bell.
see?
Oh, hi guys.
So let's
Welcome
just
back.
start off right out the gates, Nick. Is this your favorite Tarantino movie?
Oh yeah. No, this is my favorite movie.
Now,
Full stop.
Nick, I ask you this. Have you ever seen Pulp Fiction? Or Kill
No,
Bill?
what's that
Or
one?
maybe even Django or Django, like something like this day?
Django.
No, I haven't heard of these
Django?
ones.
Well,
Who are they by?
they're pretty good. It's this unknown guy. His name's Quentin Tarantino. He's pretty good. Some may argue that he's got like way better movies further down the line you go, and not his first one. Some may argue,
people can be wrong. I'm not to judge.
You should definitely Google them.
So Nick, what's your top three in order? Do you have it?
In order is it's probably Reservoir Dogs, then Inglourious Bastards, into Django Unchained.
Wow. So Pulp Fiction's not even top three, Nick.
Pulp Fiction's like barely
Kinda
top
crazy.
five.
See,
Great
like,
list.
I think
Great
honestly,
list.
in recent
That's
days,
crazy.
I'd put Inglourious as my number one. I fucking love that whole movie, dude.
Really?
I put Inglourious, and then I would put Reservoir Dogs, and then I would put I don't know about Pulp Fiction or fucking Django. I feel like Pulp Fiction just because nostalgia rip. I feel like
I
that
think
was
mine goes, and I'll give you four. I think it goes Pulp Fiction, Django, and Glorious Bastards, Reservoir Dogs.
See, that's just like a Google list.
It's my list.
That's like a Reddit list. I'm with Nick. I'm going Reservoir Dogs. I'm going Django, and then Inglourious Bastards.
I mean, I'm gonna be honest. I go back and forth between those two. It's
same.
hard.
Whatever one you
pin 'em
watch
down.
more recent than the other.
And yeah, I have watched Inglourious more recently than Django. So
same.
I've been
That's
watching
why
a
I
bunch
put
of
it as my number
breakdowns,
one.
seen breakdowns of Inglourious on YouTube.
Plus, at work, we always quote the fucking thing. Like, my manager would be like, do this, and I'll, like, let you do that or whatever. And I'll be like, you know what? That's a good deal. That's a damn good deal.
Pulp Fiction's good, but it's got a cult following.
Oh, so now because too many people like it, it's not
No,
cool?
it's
Fuck
not
you
that.
guys.
I personally just
Reservoir
don't.
Dogs has one too.
Yeah, but
That's your argument. As to why one's better than the other.
Incels like Reservoir Dogs. That's just the word on the street, you know?
it's just for us small brain people. We can understand it more.
too dumb to understand the good movies.
Exactly.
Movie take place in one place majorly.
Yep.
They don't get confused of where I am.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I've seen this movie plenty of times, but before doing research on it, I didn't realize how small the budget actually was. Did you know about that, Nick? I mean,
Yeah,
I guess
it
it
was-
makes sense
I mean,
watching
it's-
it, but
Essentially, pocket change. So what he works with now, it was
Yeah.
pretty much.
How much was it?
I don't know how much it was.
I
It
believe
was
it's 2.5, 1.5.
barely
That's
anything.
pocket change between the four of us.
Yeah, the box office was 1 million. It
2.0.
grossed in the U.S. 2.5.
Oh. 1.2.
Yeah. Well, like it came down to Brent. Like even the cars they were using in this movie were like
They were
the
like
actors'
his
cars.
Yeah,
Yeah, like
their
his own cars. Yeah, their clothing. Most of their clothing was their own. Like,
I mean, hell, the set's not
And then
very.
just go rent
It's a
black suits.
empty
Again, they're
warehouse.
just it's an empty warehouse, and then clips of them running outside.
Yeah.
They never stay in one place too long. It's just them booking it and shooting at cops. All right, are we gonna can we say that, or are we gonna get flagged? 'Cause I feel like we're gonna
What?
be talking
I mean,
about
it's
lot.
from a movie.
All right, cool,
Yeah.
cool. But yeah,
You can call
really.
it
You didn't
shooting
do it.
pigs.
No, yeah.
There you go.
Anyone smell bacon? That was my favorite scene in the whole movie. When he said that and started blasting the jewelry store that we never got to see.
Yeah. So is this the only? I won't say only because there's a lot of heist movies now, but it is definitely the first heist movie to ever not show an actual heist, right? It's got to be.
I don't know. There's
Yeah.
so many fucking movies. I mean,
Back in '92, I feel like
Yeah, true. When movies just were being made in 1992.
Yeah.
You know, the first movie didn't come out until 1990.
This is actually the first movie ever made. So that's why we had to rewind it today, because
I have no
look at
clue
what we have
if
after this.
is the first heist movie that doesn't show a heist or not.
No, I
I'm
couldn't
gonna say
name
it's
one other
fact.
movie.
That's a small guy's guarantee.
Don't look into it. Don't Google it.
Source, trust me, bro.
Yeah. But yeah, we can kind of
That's
go
a big
through.
result.
We can kind of go through the movie, the way it goes. I mean, first
Sure.
we got to talk about the diner scene.
No.
Now, Nick, I've known you for about 10 years. I know you don't tip.
Yeah,
Is that
that's
because
me.
of this movie, or-
I'm a strict no tipper. I hate the working class. Anyone who is poor, it's their fault.
Well, look,
That's a great argument.
Here's
That's a great standpoint.
what I'm gonna say. Now that I have money, I tip left and right. Like I make sure
How
I
much?
pay everyone right.
You say you got money, but we got to know how much.
No, I'm not gonna say how much money I
He
got.
tips $1
I
here
get
and there.
like $20 a
You
few
tipping
days.
20%, 15,
No,
10,
we're
or
talking
zero.
we're talking like 20, especially if the place is
Ooh.
busy. I'll give them a quick 20 spot. Be like, I got you. But
Even at a bar?
watching this movie, especially at the bar, when I first get there and I leave that first tip, I got to leave a big one so that when they walk up to me again, like, hey, sir, you want another drink? I'm like, yes, sign me
Okay.
up. It's the
$1,000
perfect
bill.
strat. It works. Yeah, dude, I spent so much money. It's insane. No, I'm kidding. I keep it nice and cheap. But watching that scene and then going to my job at Little Caesars, bro, like I was about to cause anarchy. Then trying to go out to eat afterwards after working at a shift at Little Caesars. Like, let's say, because, you know, we ate a lot of Applebee's in high school. And then imagine going from Little Caesars, not getting tipped, making minimum wage till I'm 17, and then I go to Applebee's, and they expect me to tip them. Oh, man, Mr. Pink was onto something.
No.
No.
I waited tables at a restaurant, and that shit sucked. I mean, you rarely get stiffed, but
Actual service workers do not get paid full minimum wage and
Yeah.
live off tips. It's not like you back in the kitchen who were making the full minimum wage.
Hey,
and we're
I
also
was,
getting
I
tips.
was working at the counter, not getting
I
tips.
can't. I don't think I've ever.
You
tipped
were
at
still
Little
getting full
Caesars.
minimum wage
I don't
at
think
the
they have a
counter.
tip jar.
$7.25.
I think you had an old Folgers or Holgers, whatever the hell that coffee cup is.
Folgers?
You had a little sign, yeah.
No, dude, the only person
Tips.
that tipped me $5 was I
Put an
don't
old
want
boot
to
out
dox
on the
anyone.
counter.
Cody's friend Nick, fucking his dad came in one time and was like, "Here's $5." It was right around Christmas. He gave me $5. That is the only tip I got.
That's really sad.
I mean, have you gone to a pizza place since then and tipped someone? Like a Little
Well,
Caesars?
yeah,
I don't
yeah,
tip
Hungry
at Little
Howie's?
Caesars.
Post-COVID, now I'm supposed to
If
tip
I
for
order
my
online,
fucking
maybe.
Hungry Howie's? That's insane.
Whatever. Give it to Tarantino to write that scene right at the beginning of a movie, especially, what year did this come out again?
92.
92, and I mean, look at people now.
30 years
you will
hasn't
have people,
changed.
yeah. I mean, but after seeing that scene with Steve Buscemi, like people legit live off of that. Like they've seen that and it changed their fucking mindset. They're like, I refuse to tip. Like they act like him,
That's fucking
and
insane.
that shit is fucked.
Especially because in 92, well, the movie probably doesn't take place in 92 with the things they were saying. But only like $1 on the tip, like that's easy as fuck to do. Again, now
It's
it's like
inflation.
we go out to eat. It's like I gotta leave fucking $6 on my $30 plate.
You know? See, I personally
yeah.
leave 10,
A
but
guy like me, I'm tipping the bill. That's just me though.
Nick, and you'll
But
probably
no.
remember because you just watched it. What was the conversation they were having right before the tip? It was
So
about
it was
Blue, right? Or something like that?
yeah, it was about a song and what the meaning behind a song was.
Yeah.
what was
It was
that? What was the meaning?
Tarantino going in how the woman singing the song is talking about how she hasn't been fucked like this ever before.
Nice.
And it's like
Yeah,
the
so
first
I think
time.
so. I think that's Madonna they're talking about, who's married, who was at that time married to Sean Penn, who is brothers with Chris Penn, who plays Nice Guy Eddie. So I saw a thing where Nice Guy Eddie doesn't even speak during that whole scene because he didn't want to badmouth his sister-in-law.
She just
that
said
funny?
that Sean Penn has a big dick.
Yeah,
All right,
probably.
nice. Yeah, it could
But
have been
they're
a lot
trying to
simpler
figure out.
than what you
I
just
did
said.
think I did think it was funny too during that scene. I didn't notice it until I watched the video on it. But they're saying that at the beginning, right there, they're trying to figure out who's the blue guy that she's talking about, and the cops symbolize blue, and they try to figure out who the rat is and who the cop informant is. So I think that's kind of cool. I've never noticed. I've seen the movie 5-6 times, and I've never noticed that aspect of like foreshadowing. So I don't know if you guys ever did, but that was kind of cool.
That's pretty good. I didn't catch that.
Yeah.
Nope.
So
Nick, I'm sure you knew all about that.
Yeah.
it being your favorite movie and all, I don't gotta tell you.
But no, I mean this movie though, like I mean we haven't really talked about it, but it's very unique, and I mean you can, like we said, it's Quentin Tarantino's directorial debut, and I mean just look at this one, and he's doing 10, so we have 9, 10 already technically, but you just see that style. Like you watch all these older movies, and none of them are kind of similar to this one. Like especially the dialogue in general, that's what stands out almost entirely on all of his films, and more so camera work, but it's not even kind of about that. I feel like Tarantino himself is like established on dialogue.
Yeah.
And I mean, obviously we get the gore and stuff like that, and that's something that not a lot of other directors do.
This one's not even compared to.
No.
It's kind of like how Wes Anderson fits into himself, but it's not until like 10 years into his career where all that starts to set in. It's the same with Tarantino, where the gore doesn't come in until Kill Bill, which is 10 years after Reservoir Dogs.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But no, the dialogue he's able to write is, I think, the most realistic of any writer
100%.
I've seen.
Yeah. Well, and then too, once the title sequence goes and they're walking down the parking lot, then it goes like hard cut, Mr. Orange bleeding out in the back of the car. Like, what did you guys think of that kind of opening? It throws you right into it. From the Steiner scene to that, I think it's kind of crazy. But it's awesome.
It's like, it's crazy to think if you would have saw that for your first time, not knowing who Tarantino is, that would be fucking insane. But saying that, to me, that came to me when I first watched Pulp Fiction, where like, holy fuck, like, what is this guy doing? So I almost wish that I would have watched all his stuff in order, because that is such a great way. Like, I honestly forgot. I think this is only my third time, maybe fourth time. Don't kill me, Nick Pal. Seeing this movie all the way through. But even then, like today, it caught me off guard. I was like, wait, what the hell is going on?
Yeah, but no, I mean that just shows like his storytelling, and that's how it ties into how he's unique, and I mean you don't see that quite often. I feel like Wes Anderson is the most most similar to Tarantino in like his storytelling, like everything. Like I wonder how he shot Reservoir Dogs as well. I wonder if he shot it from start to finish, and then like chopped it, cut it, and put it in like how it was. But I mean, I don't know. I don't know if he read anything about it.
Even like Kubrick has that style kind of too.
Yeah, he does go back and forth, and then it all ties in at the end, which is nice. But it leaves you on the edge of your seat, because you're confused at one point, and then 10 minutes later, it makes sense. So I like that.
Yeah, and
you don't
I
get
read
bored.
too. Apparently, Tarantino wanted to play Mr. Orange, but then, or maybe actually, I think it was Mr. Pink. I'll know when we do the trivia because it's in there. I think he wanted to play Mr. Pink, and Buscemi was so good that he's like, "Fuck, I can't take that role."
That's another thing.
I thought
he
Pink was like he wrote himself as Pink. It's like that whole tipping thing was a conversation he had before.
Yeah,
and he had put himself in that, but he wanted to focus on directing. So then he cast Buscemi as Pink, and so he's still in it as Mr. Brown, and
who dies off screen.
Mr. Shit,
which is good.
Mr. Shit, love that part.
But I do like how he always throws himself into the movies in like some parts, but
especially in Pulp Fiction, he makes himself super racist. That's cool.
Yeah.
Well, so his character, there's a lot of tie-ins to Pulp Fiction from this movie. Actually, his character in Pulp Fiction has the same last name as the character of Mr. White in this movie, so he's supposed to be his older brother.
You saying it's a multiverse?
It's a multiverse.
Plus he was smoking the apple. What the fuck are the cigarettes called?
Big Apple.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, the Big Apples, and then the Big Kahuna Burger Cup. Holy!
Oh my god! And then it's in Once Upon a Time in Hollywood too. Shit.
Well, and like a Marcellus gets mentioned, who is in Pulp Fiction. The burger place. Yeah, the burger place that Mr. Blonde goes to is the same one. Samuel Jackson has.
Big Kahuna.
Yeah, that. Yeah. And there's another one too. I forget what it is. I think
Oh,
Mr. Blonde is related to someone else.
Yeah, the
mean
Vega
the
brothers.
briefcase?
It's
Oh yeah, the Vega
Travolta's
brothers, thank you.
character is.
Yeah.
And then the
That must be
briefcase,
all-
dude. Is it Marcella's
Oh, yeah.
soul or is it the diamonds?
Might be the diamonds.
What's in there?
Oh shit!
It's not
Nick,
the,
yeah, that
it's
movie's
not the
definitely the
diamonds. It's
It
not the
could be,
diamonds.
though. It
No,
could
it's not.
be. We
Because
don't know, Nick.
yes, because Pink gets caught at the end of the film.
Pink didn't get
Well, he got
caught.
away the first time, Nick. So
No,
maybe he got away
you-
again.
Or-
Yeah.
You guys, you gotta listen. You can hear in the background as
Nick,
as
'cause they're-
Mr. White is, hey Brian, shut up, I'm talking. As White is, after he's been shot and Pink runs out the door, you can hear in the distance sirens, and you'll hear shouting and gunshots. And then after that, they finally get through into the warehouse where they are.
I don't think that's true at all, Nick. I think he made it
Okay,
out.
you should probably
So-
turn the sound on when you watch films.
Well, you see, Nick, if it's not in front of my eyes, then it didn't happen. What the fuck?
Off screen
Yeah, Nick.
doesn't
Unless you
count.
see the dead
Hey.
body.
Like, Mr. Blue is still out there. He could have been the rat for all I know.
Yeah.
Oh. They said he's got a bullet in his head.
Does he?
I don't know. I didn't see it. Real
Yeah,
quick,
no,
did
so-
any of you guys play the Reservoir Dogs video game on PS2?
There's a fucking game.
No, I didn't know there was a
No.
game.
Yeah,
Was it fun?
PlayStation 2 game. Yeah, I mean it's like Kane and Lynch almost.
Oh, really? Are the
Yeah.
characters in it like the
Yep.
Mr. White and all that? Oh,
Yep.
okay, cool.
And they're like you play like robbing the bank, and then I don't really
I was
remember
gonna
what's
say,
after that.
Do
But
you see the heist in that at least, or no?
no, you play the
It just starts. It just starts in the warehouse. You gotta figure out who the rat
Yeah.
is. Like, I
You just
figured
sit
it
there
out.
still in one setting in the video game. It's like Among Us.
Yeah, so we could talk about the warehouse, because that's where they take Mr. Orange, and I guess with the hearse and everything like that, I guess it's a. Do you guys see it as a little bit of a foreshadow that they're all gonna die and everything like that? Like, I guess, do you make that connection, or do you think that's just on the odd chance that that's what that factory is full of? Is
100%.
I mean, yeah, it's potentially foreshadowing that. I don't know. There's a lot of
Okay.
stuff that Tarantino does, and then he finds the meaning after. Like he's talked about
Yeah.
when he was writing this. He just wanted to write a story, and as he was finishing it, he realized it's like a father-son tale. But he didn't want that at the forefront. He just happened to stumble across that, and people can read into that how they feel or whatever.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because that's the thing is, White and Orange have this connection at the beginning, and you really don't understand why that is until later on in the movie. So I feel like this movie offers, and the fact you figure out who the rat is, later on in the movie. But I think this movie offers a lot of rewatchability, for sure. Just catching things the second or third time you go through it. I mean,
Well, I think
just
the
watched it for the fifth
runtime
time,
also
sixth
helps
time,
it
and I'm
out.
catching more.
Runtime helps it out because, like I said, I mean it's a very easy movie to watch. It's good. It has action and like all that suspense when they're all just like pointing the finger at each other, and then especially once shit hits the fan. Like I think the movie picks up for me when he's slicing the cop up. He's got music playing in the back and all that. I think
What
that's
song was
when
that,
you,
Nick?
I think it's stuck in the middle.
stuck in the middle.
Okay.
Um,
No, you can know it.
And then
This
that
one
starts
that
playing,
is
and
the
then it's just-
most iconic scene.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's my favorite. All of
I
the
think it-
stuff whenever Orange and Mr. White are interacting, that is what I adore. I think my favorite, possibly best scene is him carrying Orange into the warehouse, leading up through his conversation with Mr. Pink. I think that's where the movie's at its peak,
See, I
which
was
is
gonna
really
say-
early on.
Yeah, I was gonna
Yeah.
say that the Mr. Pink where they're pointing the guns at each other, that scene, dude, I
Yeah.
completely forgot that came so quick. I thought that was later on. So I agree that would definitely be where it takes the cake for me. And again, that would be the first 25 minutes, not even.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, dude, to get you hooked like that is fucking awesome.
Oh,
Yeah, and there's hints too to that like he was asking to go to the hospital because obviously he would be okay as a police officer to be able to go there,
Right.
But they don't know that at the time. So
Yeah, because he was
I
literally
like that,
begging me.
begging me to take him to the. Yeah.
He took him there to bleed out. That's insane.
I'm also surprised he didn't break either. Like when it's just them two in the car, you would think that he would tell him and be like, "Hey, like I'm a cop, take me to the fucking hospital." And then it could have, the story could have altered right there. He could have shot him.
Well,
or
that's
he
the
could
thing.
have
The story
turned it on
ends
him.
right there.
Yeah.
White doesn't feel bad at that point anymore. He feels continually worse throughout the film because he gets
Everyone
Orange
killed.
shot. He gets him shot, and
Yep.
then now he feels responsible for him. And as this kid is laying there writhing in pain, he feels even more guilt that he didn't take him to the hospital.
Yeah.
Orange
Not to
getting
mention the
shot,
crying
though,
for him not to leave his side and everything too.
Right.
He should have expected that woman to have a gun. All right.
Well, that is the actual only moment we see a woman in this movie.
Really?
Isn't that funny? I didn't even notice that. Yeah, I saw on the video they mentioned that. I'm like, oh damn, I guess they're right. I mean, the cast is so small.
I mean, there's like 6, 7 people
Yeah.
total in the entire cast.
Yeah,
Was she at least like a big name, or is it just some random lady that?
there's a random woman who pulled. She goes ah and shot him. That's it. That's the only speaking part a woman has in this movie. Yeah. So I didn't even notice that all the time.
Yeah, I mean,
watched
they
it.
don't even show the waitress.
No. No, poor
Damn.
Joe has to do all the work. God, they should have tipped.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we get introduced to Mr. Blonde. I like the way this movie did the backgrounds of them talking to Joe and like how they got the job. And then later on in the movie, we get to see like them having the gang meeting right at the warehouse. But I really like that a lot. It gave each character backstory as they entered the story. It felt like, to a certain degree. But I think Mr. Blonde's probably my favorite character. I don't know who your guys' favorites are. It's probably Mr.
Fucking
White.
psychopath.
Basically.
I
He's
do.
exciting. You
I
never know what's going to
I
happen.
do
He's-
love Mr. Blonde, but I got to give it up to Buscemi. Mr. Pink really.
Yeah,
takes
I'm
it for
going
me.
pink too.
Is that because he lives at the end?
Yeah,
Yeah.
because he's the only one to walk away.
Him and Mr. Blue, of
I'm
course.
going to Tarantino. He did a
Mr.
real good
Blue
job of
picked him up.
crashing into the back of a parked car. So
He goes, "I'm blind because you're not blind. You just got
Fucking
blood in
everyone.
your eyes."
yeah.
Yeah. But Nick, is your favorite Mr. White or Mr. Orange? Probably.
It's Mr. White.
Just because of that connection. Okay.
It's Mr. White only because he's the only one conflicted throughout the whole thing. Everyone else they're in it for themselves, and he is the only one who is actively trying to help someone else through something.
Mr. Pink
Oh,
makes
this
a
guy,
good
Eddie.
point, though. He's just trying to keep it professional. No one was being
That's-
professional.
That's fine. If they wanted to keep it professional, they probably could have just dropped him off at the hospital. But
No.
to let this person have all these people just be okay with this guy dying after having
That's the
their
risk you take
their
in
guy
that
that's
life of crime, Nick.
professional
Nick.
shoot up the jewelry store.
Nick,
Brian,
this
I'm going
isn't-
to sign off if you keep interrupting me.
I didn't know Lawrence Bender was the young cop.
Yeah,
They
he
like start
produced it
torturing
too.
and shit. Yeah.
Yeah, he produced the movie.
It's good.
Yeah, so I think that scene with the music where he's dancing and then the ear gets cut off. I knew what the budget was going into this movie for this rewatch, and I was like, that's got to be most of the budget right there, just on the song and the cut off fucking ear, because it looked really good. Like you got to think 1992, it looked really
Right.
convincing that he
Mhm.
got his ear cut off, and then the reveal of Mr. Orange like lighting him up was insane. It's
Well,
still
no.
like crazy.
But that's what I wanted to mention when Nick Pell said that it wasn't like your favorite scene. Like after rewatching it today alone, like he's got duct tape on his mouth. This guy's playing fucking music and he's like slashing his face up. And then he goes and just starts pouring kerosene all over him. And it's just like,
Yeah.
holy
And the
shit.
fact that the cop didn't give him up.
yeah,
too.
no. And he
It's
knew
crazy.
him and all that. It's
Yeah.
just, yeah. I mean, that makes it better because then you just see him as like a fucking complete psychopath. And he's like, you know what? He's like, I'm not even going to kill you, or I'm not going to give you a quick death. I'm going to make you suffer. And then he just starts, he's like, I'm going to torture you.
Well, that's the
Just
thing.
going
He's
back
like,
and
I don't
forth.
even want info. I just want to torture you
He
to
just
torture
wants
you.
to torture you. I just like torturing cops. So I thought that was good. That's something I picked out. And that's why
Yeah.
I kind of think that, like, I mean, that's not, I would say that that's my favorite scene, but then it goes, I also love when, I don't know the names, man. When they originally pull the guns on each other, like going back and
Yeah.
forth, and they're arguing inside. And they
Is
can't
that when
figure out who the
nice
rat
guy
is.
Eddie shows up?
It's before. I think he shows
before,
up right at the end of it.
Yeah, there's that point where Mr. Nice Guy Eddie shows up, and Mr. White, like, halfway through the conversation, stops to go walk across the room to go shut that door. And I guess I saw that the door just kept opening that day that they were filming, and it was annoying as hell, so he just had to keep going to shut it. So I was like, there's no way that was just intended, because the way the door blows open. But,
No.
I mean, I don't know. I thought it's funny. It works, too.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
I just... Yeah, I think Nice Guy Eddie, next to Mr. Pink, is probably the funniest character in the movie, for sure.
Yeah, for
that
sure.
dude just makes me laugh. The shit he says.
Especially the at the end of the movie when he starts going in about his one buddy who was loyal to him and his family, and you know, obviously he's like, he called his bluff, and he's like, why would he just out of the blue
Mr.
right now
Blonde.
just go and turn on us? Yeah, blonde.
Yeah.
He did
And
4
then
years
that-
for the family just to turn out of nowhere.
Yeah. He's like,
Yeah,
you could have
that's-
read us out any day.
Yeah, so then there's about, I think, 25 minutes, 30 minutes left in the movie, and then we get like a 15 to 10 minute flashback of Mr. Orange, you know, kind of showing his background as a cop. I really love that part of the movie too.
No, it's the best flashback of the three main ones.
Yep.
It's the longest and is most fleshed out, but it's the most interesting too.
Yeah. Yeah, like the even down to the like wedding ring that his character wears, but the actual, you know, person doesn't. You know what I mean? So
Right.
when he's in character, he's got the ring, and then the whole like learning his lines and the whole going to the bathroom with those police officers, like that scene's great. There's so
Yeah.
many. So that flashback is just, you know, I love it. It's one of my favorite parts of the movie, and you just like you go and look, and you're like, damn, there's only 30 minutes left, and that flashback's almost half of it.
Dude,
You
I
know what I mean?
fucking
Tim
love.
Roth's characters going back and forth, like reading his lines and memorizing them.
Mhm.
So that
goes
way you
from,
can
like,
make the
inside his
story
apartment.
yourself.
Yeah, inside the apartment, then to outside, then to like being at the bar or wherever they are doing the
Club or
meeting.
whatever.
Dude, I
Yeah.
love to during the flashback when he's talking about going in the bathroom, running into the cops, and he hits the fucking hand dryer, and I swear that's how loud it feels sometimes when you have people
A
in there
fucking
with you.
jet engine.
Bro, it just sounds like a jet engine. He doesn't know what the fuck's going on, what they're talking
Yeah.
about after that.
They're all just staring at him.
The dog's just barking. They tell it to shut the fuck up. Gotta love it.
Well, in that part too, I mean, like Nick mentioned at the beginning of the movie, he has that like heartfelt moments with Mr. White. But this is the first time where we see Tim Roth's character not laying in a pool of his own blood on that ramp. Like you actually get to see him as a character
Yeah.
doing things, and it's really cool. So I like that a lot, especially when it comes out of nowhere that he's the rat.
Mhm.
You know, so. And Joe knew too, because he's the only one he wasn't totally certain about,
Mhm.
which is crazy. Well, let's talk about too the when they have their meeting as a group when they're assigned their names and everything. I love that scene a lot. It's hilarious. Obviously, the Mr. Shit, and then Buscemi not wanting to be Mr. Pink.
Being Miss Purple.
Yeah, changing his color or trying to trade with someone for a color. Love that scene.
Yeah.
I noticed too, even in moments like that when they're flashing through the whole gang, like Mr. Brown's in the background, but he's like well hidden enough to where you don't really see his face that much, which is Tarantino, probably because he's behind the camera.
Yeah.
But it's like little moments like that too, where you really wouldn't notice his character missing because he's not a big part of the story.
Yeah.
So,
And I think, like, I mean, like you said, he didn't write himself in, like, for that specific part, but he knew that it flowed well enough in order for it to work out.
yeah, and I wonder if the original Mr. Brown, if it was going to be someone else, if they would have had a tad bit bigger of a role, or if it would have been like a Mr. Blue situation where, you know.
But I mean, then again, what would you even change in this script? What
I don't
scene
know.
would you add? What scene would you take out? Like,
I feel like it would just be one more person yelling in the warehouse.
yeah, exactly. I
that's
mean,
Probably.
is yeah, I don't know. I mean, you got to think
Yeah.
it's his directorial debut, so like he didn't know what the fuck he was doing, but he like obviously he wrote this and he knew like the vision that he had, and I think it works out for being like if anyone else like if you were to drop a movie like that nowadays, everyone would bash the fuck out of it. Like God,
They
it's
just
so
don't make
bad.
real
Like it's
cinema
one
no more.
setting. Yeah, where's the flying? Where's the bomb? Shit
Well, that's
like
the thing
that.
too. I feel like
Where's the jewels?
I feel like TV shows get
Where's the
critiqued for that. I feel like TV shows get critiqued for that for like bottle episodes. Not to say this is one, but I guess they are in the same setting for quite a bit of the
I
movie.
was thinking that while I was watching. I was like, damn, this is a bottle movie, and I never realized it.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I feel like for the budget they had, it's quite a remarkable movie, for what came out.
I agree.
That's the other thing too, is that's why like Tarantino's as good as he is, because look at this low budget $1.2 million movie that there's nothing crazy going on, and it's just the dialogue, it's the storytelling, and that's where like he's more of an author at this point, and he just so happens to own a fucking camera.
Yeah, because they're painting the picture of what happened with what they're saying to each other.
Yeah, exactly.
So, and what each character saw from their own point of view. And I remember that one point where the argument, this is one of the scenes I really like a lot too, is when Mr. White and Mr. Blonde are debating against each other when Nice Guy Eddie's there as to what happened. And they both have completely different point of views as to what happened. So you have to go with one character's perspective rather than the other and decide what's real and what's not.
Yeah.
So, which this movie captures pretty well. Yeah, we can talk about the ending, the shootout. I think that's that Mexican standoff, as some people call it. I wouldn't call it that because it's insensitive. But I think I like it at the end.
With us? Thank you there.
Yeah. Nick's the one that told me that's what the scene's called. Anyway, I think I like that all the characters end up dying at the end. I think that's
except for Mr. Pink, who makes it out safe.
Yeah.
Well, Mr. Blue picks him up in a helicopter.
Yeah, he got an Uber XL and he's on his way.
Took a sub.
Trust me, Tarantino called me, Nick, and told me that's what happened. Okay.
Okay.
No, I mean, I definitely, that's why like the ending is so good too. I mean, I don't know how far we're jumping. There's not much more to talk about.
Yeah, I think this is we're at the end now.
But no, especially when who's it? Orange is holding, or no?
White's been shot.
White's holding Orange.
He's sold everything to trust this kid who's taken a bullet, and he has. I mean, when you look at it, White saw, for him to sit there and let them claim that he's the rat after he saw him, one, take a bullet, and two, he shot and killed a civilian in the aftermath. So for him to be a cop, supposedly shooting people like that is insane. I'm wondering if that would have been revealed at all, if the story could have gone any different. Because that's the thing, Joe only said that he's like, oh, it's my instinct.
Yeah, you don't need facts when you have instinct, right?
To fucking shoot someone.
White's like, okay, that's bullshit. I'm not doing that.
Yeah. Nick,
especially too, we've watched the character for the last hour 40 defend him for not being a rat.
Nick, like, if let's say the four of us were to stand up, and I was like, Nick, I have instinct. I don't need facts. Are you trusting me?
No.
We've been through a lot together.
No.
But
I just saw
Josh, because we know little Joshy is the
someone.
Rat. Yeah, we know Josh is the rat in this scenario. But like a part of you would be like, all right, maybe Poppy's got a point. Like,
no, I just saw this guy who they're claiming is a cop kill a civilian.
Okay, all right.
You can't say, "Oh, it's my gut feeling."
But Brian, the scene you mentioned earlier, which takes place right before they all get shot or shoot each other, is when Mr. Orange is telling his side of the story as to why he shot Mr. Blonde. Like, so I think that whole part, to Nice Guy Eddie. Like, and he's like, he defended my family for this many years in prison. Like, I think that whole scene, you're like, oh, fuck. Like, he has nothing to back up on.
Yeah, nothing.
Mr. White still trusts him, though.
I've known him for an hour and 15 minutes.
He gained even more of Mr. White's trust because Mr. White doesn't trust Blonde at all. He's a psychopath. And having his doubts confirmed about Mr. Blonde through who he already trusts, there's no way he would have allowed them to do anything to Orange.
Yeah. Well, Nick, for these characters, do you think this movie kind of has a perfect ending?
Yeah. No. This is, as a whole, even, this is, I think, as close to a perfect movie as you can get, in my opinion. It's nice and compact. You're not sitting there for 3 hours. There's actual emotion. The acting performances are phenomenal. Probably the best Buscemi has done. The best I'd say Tim Roth has done. I don't know about.
He was pretty good in Mr. Deeds.
Crazy Eyes.
Yeah, it's
I
a
like.
hard role to
I liked
play.
him more in what the fuck was that Pete Davidson movie? The one King of New York, King of Staten Island. That Steve
I
Buscemi
never
killed
saw
him in
that.
And Nick, I don't know if you've seen She-Hulk, but Tim Roth is in that. So that
Well, he was in the the Incredible Hulk.
Plus you saw.
Yeah, but that one.
You saw Pulp Fiction. Tim
Tim
Roth killed him.
Say She-Hulk over the Incredible Hulk.
Well, Josh did give She-Hulk like a 78 or something.
Yeah,
like that.
no, I think
It wasn't a
98.
78, 71.
It's like an 84, I thought.
No, it's not. Stop giving it a higher score.
92.
No, I agree, Nick. It definitely has like comedy. It has heart, like you mentioned earlier. There is some sadness in there, action. You get a little bit of everything in this movie.
Especially as a first-time viewer, like you have no idea what's going on.
No.
So I mean, it's like a great first watch, I guess you could say.
Yeah, like
and
you
after
said
that, like
earlier.
I mean, you can, the rewatchability on this is like, it's great. But like, you'll never forget that first time you watched it.
Yeah. But let's get into trivia. There's actually some good ones. We mentioned a few earlier. The film's budget was so low that many of the actors were asked to simply bring their own clothing as wardrobe. Most notably, Chris Penn's track jacket, who plays nice guy Eddie. The signature black suits were provided for free by the designer, based on her love for American crime film genres.
Nice.
So they're even getting clothes for free. The budget wouldn't cover police assistance for traffic control, so the scene where Steve Buscemi forces a woman out of the car and drives off in it, he could only do it when the traffic lights were green. So they had to fucking rush to do the scene. Can you imagine that? And that's one of their bigger scenes.
Imagine just being in the car behind, like, go
You're just driving by.
She's got a carjacked.
Yeah, I mean, movies nowadays will shut a whole block
It's like
off.
fucking real cops chasing him down the street.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's insane.
Yeah, so we mentioned this one where Tarantino was originally going to play Mr. Pink.
But how funny is that, real quick, sorry to cut you off, but when that strip in Hollywood, for Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, he could only shoot it at like a certain time, but they gave him that like entire strip, and then he couldn't even get a fucking street light. now he's getting whole cities, basically, city blocks. So
during filming...
Look at the guy go.
What'd you say?
So look at the guy go. Go ahead.
Oh, yeah. No, he's moving. During filming, a paramedic was kept on set to make sure that Mr. Orange, played by Tim Roth, amount of blood loss was kept consistent and realistic for a real gunshot victim.
Nice.
There's a fuck ton of blood.
I was going to say, it's an insane amount of blood. I noticed that rewatching this time. It's almost like a small pond that forms at the bottom of the ramp, it seems.
Yeah, and then he gets shot again.
Yeah.
And he's
like, all right.
Still. The backseat of the car.
Yeah.
There's a shit ton in there, too.
The fact that they went with white seats, too.
Yeah.
Crazy. You know that shit
in the Ford Museum.
Yeah. According to an interview on DVD, Michael Madsen says that Kirk Baltz asked to ride in his trunk to experience what it'd really be like. Manson agreed, but decided as he went along that this time for his own character development, so he drove down a long alley with potholes in it. That's so fun.
That's a good prank.
Fucked up.
Yeah, and this is the last one. Mr. Blonde's Cadillac belonged to Michael Manson because the budget wasn't big enough to rent a car for the character. So that's what we were talking about earlier. Actually, I do have one more. In an interview on BBC in 2009, Quentin Tarantino said he was proud of the movie, and it's often in his top 10 heist movies, even though you never actually see a heist.
Yeah.
So I guess he just sees it out in a lot of people's lists. And like we mentioned at the beginning of this episode, they don't really even show a heist in it, but it is technically a heist movie. At least I consider it one. I think you guys do too. So
yeah, I mean it is a heist movie.
Yeah.
Well, actually,
yeah.
Well, technically,
I didn't see it, so
you never actually see anyone take diamonds.
Yeah, you see.
Matt Damon and George Clooney aren't there.
Here's what you're
It's
gonna
really
do.
a heist movie.
You're gonna put the jewels in the bag. See.
But no, I mean this movie is definitely it's great. Like knowing that we have. I mean, it sucks knowing that we have his 10th film coming out within like the next few years.
Yeah, what is it called? The Movie Critic or something like that?
Movie Critic. He said it's like Taxi Driver and I don't know, what do you compare the two?
Oh, Marvel's
De
Endgame.
Niro's.
Nick,
I
what would you
forgot.
think of a Tarantino multiverse movie where they all come through portals? And it's
Wow,
all the
that sounds
characters?
great.
And it's
does,
just
honestly.
it's
I
just
hope-
all the
I hope
different times
Tarantino hears this and starts writing it.
Hey, the one
All
portal,
the Tarantino
the-
characters come through the
the one
portal.
portal opens up and it's just every slur Tarantino's ever said on camera, and they're
Oh,
like,
God.
close it.
They're all obsessed with feet.
Yeah.
Just Uma
Just a bunch
Thurman's
of big
foot
ass
coming through a
fucking
hole.
toes. God. Yeah, no, I mean, it sucks that he's gonna hang it up, but
Yeah.
I know that he did write a TV show, which is pretty cool. I don't know if we'll ever see it, but yeah, I mean, he only really mentioned just that.
Yeah, so will he stop writing completely, or is it he's done directing movies?
It's up in the air. I
He's
don't
still
think
directing.
he's.
I
I'm
think
pretty
he's
sure
just
he's like
hanging it
said
up.
no more directing because
Yeah.
he's
Oh,
he's
okay.
talked about other projects that he's worked on. I remember
they asked
reading
him-
years ago that he wanted or wanted to work on the Star Trek thing, but
Mhm.
nothing
Oh.
came.
Oh, I forgot about
Yeah.
that. I do remember reading about that.
Yeah, he mentioned the Star Trek thing, and then he went on to saying that he did write like 6 or 8 episodes of a TV show. He didn't say anything about it, and then he said that he's like they're like, are you gonna help? Like, if one of your buddies is like writing something, are you gonna go in and like, you know, observe or like help out? He said, I don't know. Like, he's simple as that.
Well, and clearly, too, from all his movies, his writing's amazing. I'm sure you guys have seen the clip where Jamie Foxx does that impression of him when he tries to, like, ad-lib his own lines, and Tarantino pulled him aside and yelled at him, like, to use his own words. So, you know,
In all
hopefully
the
he keeps
interviews.
wring, is what I'm saying. Yeah,
Hopefully.
obviously he's
I mean,
fucking
hopefully,
really
but
talented.
his whole thing is he's got like kids now. He's like, yeah, I want to like raise them, and he's pretty old too. I think
His
he's
kids?
like 50.
I
Yeah.
thought he was in his early 60s.
Yeah, I thought,
Yeah,
yeah,
he
that's
might be
why I'm
60.
shocked that he has kids, because I'm pretty sure he's
No, yeah, he had kids super late. His kid's young as hell too.
Damn.
And
Oh.
but I mean, yeah, I mean, it makes sense for him. But I mean, maybe the kid will get older and he'll just be bored as shit, and he'll go help out. So
Yeah.
But, I mean, there's nothing that you see nowadays that isn't his project that he's helping out on. You know. So
Mhm.
if he's not doing it now, why would he do it in the future? So,
Yeah.
yeah.
Would you guys consider him, before we get into reviews here, would you guys consider him top 5 director of all time, or no? What do you
Definitely.
think? You think he's earned that?
Probably.
Or?
Yep.
Okay. I'd say so.
100% top.
I mean, the fact
I
that
would
all
give him
his
top
movies are hard to, you know, we all kind of have a different list somewhat of what our favorites are by him, and you know, it's like with Nolan, right? It's like he's got so many great movies too, where it's hard to decide which one's the best, or even like Kubrick, or you know, any of the ones we mentioned before. So
I mean, people give Death Proof shit all the time, but I think that's a
I
good
didn't even
movie
mind
too.
it. I watched it. I kind of
It's
enjoyed it.
fine.
It would be,
It's just not up to snuff
It's
with
just-
the rest of his stuff.
Yeah,
Yeah.
100%.
but on
It's
a
just
normal
weird,
movie
it's
basis,
like a
it's
fucking
still pretty
nightmare.
good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
So-
yeah, I mean, I can't say that he's got any bad projects.
Yeah.
And I've seen them all multiple times too, which is the best part. It's not one of those movies where you see it's like, all right, this one's shit. I'll never watch it again.
Right.
Yeah.
But that's kind of how I feel about Hateful Eight. I'm not gonna lie.
You shut your whore mouth.
I'm not a fan of
You
Hateful
shut
Eight.
your whore mouth. That's a
I'm
great
not, man.
movie.
It's a good movie, but it's not. It's definitely not my favorite. Like, I've seen it like probably 3-4 times.
You like
and
Death
every
Proof
time.
more than it?
Extended cut, everything. No.
You like Jackie Brown more than it?
Yeah. I'll take Jackie Brown over that.
Trip.
It's just so slow, man. It's one of his slow burners.
Until it's
I know,
fucking
but even
not.
it's good. But it's like once you've seen it before, it's good the first time. But then you go and sit through all
Well, how
that
many
multiple
fucking
times just to
you
rewatch.
watching this thing, bro? Like, turn
I'm
it on
just
once
saying.
every other year.
We had to
baby.
watch the extended cut too.
Yeah.
No, one day the four of us will do like a Tarantino tier list or something, and it'll be fucking. We'll spend over an hour trying to debate things because it's going to be so stressful on figuring out what we think's the best or what we don't like as much. So,
Yeah.
but do you guys want to get into scores here?
Let's do
let's go.
it.
That's fine.
Nick, you want to start off
Yeah,
since you're
I'll
the guest?
just, like I said, it's as close as you can get to a perfect movie, so I would feel insincere if I gave it anything other than the perfect 100.
Wow.
Oh, I thought you were gonna go
Wow.
99 right there.
Nope.
Trick to me.
Now, Pulp
Nick,
Fiction
do you
would be
wanna
a
change-
101, or
No, Pulp Fiction's like a 78.
Yeah.
Inglorious
I'll
Bastards?
go-
I
I'll
think
go
you
to
gave
80.
Fight Club. I think you gave Fight Club like an 83 or 73 or
Yeah.
something like that. Do you want to change that?
No, I'm good where that is.
You don't up into like the 90s
Nope.
or anything? It's a great movie.
I'm happy where it is.
Now, Nick, where would you put The Dark Knight compared to this?
Compared to this,
Yeah, because some people say The Dark Knight's like the best movie ever made.
I have never heard that, but
You just did.
Well, it is almost a perfect movie.
You just did. So
I don't know. Probably the high 80s, low 90s. That one feels long at times.
Really?
I remember watching
Tough
it.
critic.
When I came through the theaters again this year, I was there. I went and saw it, and I'm like, I kept checking my watch. I'm like, this
because
is...
you don't see Bruce's parents.
Well,
die.
that's because of the actions that happen. Never mind. Spider-Verse.
I'm ranking all these films.
I'm just trying to see something.
I'm not even
here,
giving
okay?
it a
This is the last one. This is the last one.
Which Spider-Verse?
The
first
OG one? Yeah, the one.
The first one
Both.
is excellent. The first one's probably like a 95.
Okay.
Yeah.
I see where you're at now.
I like the first one more
Thank
than the
you.
second
Yeah.
one.
I agree. It's a
Cowboy
full movie.
Butts Drive Me Nuts, Volume 7.
Yeah, Nick, what are your thoughts on that?
Oh,
Nice.
that's
7.
tough, Aiden.
7, they say it's critically acclaimed and it's one of the highest rated movies of all time.
Mr. Pell, thank you for entertaining me. I just wanted to see where the skill was
Yeah,
at.
of course.
Yeah, so you go ahead, Brian.
All right. Great movie. Again, it's not Inglourious. It's not Pulp Fiction. It's not even Django. Hell, it's not even Death Proof. No, I'm fucking with you. This is a great movie. This is for sure a top 3 Tarantino movie for me. Again, like we said earlier, it really does come down to what the fuck you watch more recently, because that will interchange it, and like that's how it moves around a lot. Great movie, great pacing. I genuinely forgot that they all get blasted by the end of it, so that was like really cool to see again this time around. Like that it still kept me entertained, even though this is like my 3rd or 4th watch. You just don't really get that too often with the movie. But yeah, to keep it short and sweet, I feel foolish giving this anything below a fucking like 90. I'll call it 95.
It's good.
All right.
I can go next. Josh can finish this off. But looking back at it, Quentin Tarantino's directorial debut, unique, and you can just see from this movie alone up until Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, which is the newest one that we've gotten, and just how much better he's gotten. I mean, this movie, like I said, and even Nick will back me up on it, it's one of the best movies of all time. It's easy to watch. It's like suspenseful, and just the ending is perfect. I don't think you can do it any other way, because it still leaves the door open enough to where you can kind of make your own ending, like we just did at the beginning of this episode. Kind of saying like Blue's still alive, Pink got away, all this shit, and then you're even intertwining it with Pulp Fiction. But yeah, I mean, it's great. I've seen this movie too many times to count. And I'm glad that it's on Netflix too. I'm not a DVD connoisseur like these guys, but I might have to buy this one. If I ever were to buy a DVD, I would definitely.
You don't
have
have
this
any
one in the
physical
collection.
media, Aiden?
No, I do. I have. Ready for it?
Oh,
I've
God.
got Infinity War, Endgame, Jurassic World.
That's it? Wait, seriously? That's
Jurassic
it?
World.
World, not far.
Jurassic World. I got 3 of them.
Nick, he doesn't have the good ones?
Nope, I got 3 of them.
Wow.
I mean,
But I'll be the one to admit it. They can fucking arrest me. I'm a pirate.
Yarg.
I pirate my movies. I'm a cheap fuck, so.
Huh.
But
You
no, I
Nick
feel
Phillip.
confident giving this one a solid 98 out of 100. One of my
Highest scores.
highest scores for Tarantino's films. It's definitely my top 5. It's definitely my top 3 if we're being honest. So, yeah, I mean, great watch. If anyone that is watching this has not seen this movie, I mean,
So
it's
what are the
on
Kill
Netflix.
Bills?
Like, there's no what
Are the Kill Bills not in your top 3 or anything like that?
Kill Bill, not top 3, top
Okay,
5.
because
For
I know
sure.
you like those a lot too. Okay.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you guys said it all, right? And we mentioned it earlier. It's got a little bit of everything. It's got jokes in it, but it's got action. It's got the heart. I think it's almost the perfect length. I wish every movie was around this length.
In the ear.
Huh?
So it's got the heart. You're naming all these body parts, and then I said the ear.
Oh yeah, and the ears.
It's
Yeah, it's
only
got
got
the
one
ears.
ear.
It's got one ear. The other one got
Everyone knows
severed
you got
off.
the best
That's what you did there.
references, Nick Bell.
Yeah.
Yeah. I know. I'm gonna go with the 94. It's no Pulp Fiction. And I want that on the website. I want it 94. It's no Pulp Fiction.
And Glorious
Josh
to
watched
me
Pulp
is
Fiction.
the
He only
perfect
eats
100.
cheeseburgers and fries. So
Yeah, I watch it once a month.
He likes to go to McDonald's and go, I'll have the Royale with cheese, please.
yeah.
Yeah, and then I do the
the
dance in the
fuck did you
bathroom when
say?
I get out of the shower.
Sorry, Vincent sent me.
Oh man.
No, that was our rewind, our review for Reservoir Dogs.
Short, simple, to the point for a short film.
Yeah, although we're at 50 minutes here, so it's about normal range what our episodes are. Yeah,
Maybe let's go
about-
for another 10.
We should try to hit an hour 45 to match the
Yeah.
movie.
We should talk about Reservoir Dogs 2.
What I would do with it.
Yeah.
Yeah, but we'll be back on Friday with our episode 100. Thank you, Nick Pell, for joining us again. We'll obviously have to have you on again.
Thank you, Nick
Thank,
Bell.
thank you for having me.
Maybe small guys will pitch in and get you a camera.
Yeah, maybe.
Just a gift of gratitude.
Aw.
Because we're the one
Yeah,
that
well,
we're getting paid.
When we
for
do
this.
Pulp Fiction, we need Nick on because that's his actual favorite one.
Yeah.
Oh, it seems like it's your favorite.
Well, it's,
No,
it's a bunch of
Nick
people's
Pell just
favorites.
does this thing he calls baiting, you know?
Yeah,
Yeah,
baiting.
I'm actually going to give Pulp
Two
Fiction like
movies can be
It's
perfect.
like, how many people
115.
saw that? Oh, never mind. Drop the score.
Yeah, Nick's like, my score goes to 200.
Oh, you guys don't use the 200 scale?
Yeah.
All right, well, I'll see you boys
Yeah.
later.
All right, goodbye.
Yeah,
I
thanks,
love you
Nick.
guys. Thank
Have
you,
a
good
Nico.
one.
See you.
Bye. I love you.